As some of our mashaykh, they say, look at how an ami from the Muslims, speaking about Ahmed Deedat, may Allah forgive him, because he was upon some things that were incorrect and causes some things that were incorrect. And he wasn't upon the way of the Salaf in his Qaaidah or in his da'wah, for that matter. But Ahmed Deedat, who knows what his profession was? What was he? He was a carpenter. He was a carpenter. They said it's amazing that an ami from the Muslims who was a carpenter and a jar could refute fuhul al-Nasara, the leaders of the Nasara. I grew up in my household, in a Christian family, may Allah guide them all to Islam. I grew up in a household like that, watching Jimmy Swaggart and the rest of these people, right? Ahmed Deedat destroyed Jimmy Swaggart's batil. Ahmed Deedat had Jimmy Swaggart looking like he was about to pass wind and stuff, looking all flustered and looking all upset and, messed up, right? Ahmed Deedat using the Bible, right? Gave it to Jimmy Swaggart. And this is the reality. And Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, what He has given us in His book, Tabarak wa Ta'ala, the truth. And falsehood cannot stand against the smallest amount of truth. And the least of the Muslims have at their disposal, if they have a good understanding of the obligations of what is mandatory to learn of their religion, they have the arsenal to defeat some of the leaders of the people of falsehood from the Christians and so on and so forth. So the Shaykh, he says, rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, بَلْ هُوَ عَلَى اسْمِهِ بَاطِلْ لَا حَقِيقَةَ لَهُ. But rather, batil is just as its name implies, it is batil. Meaning, it is futile. It is futile. That's the meaning of batil. That which has no reality and no benefit. Truth is that which is real and beneficial in the Arabic language. The meaning of truth in the Arabic language is reality, that which is a reality and that which is beneficial. And the meaning of falsehood in the Arabic language is the opposite of that. That la haqiqata la, that which has no basis in reality and it has no benefit. So this is the reality of falsehood. It can't stand against the smallest amount of truth. It is batil kasmihi. It is just like its name implies, it is futile, it is false, it has no reality. In hiya illa asma'un yusammuna biha al-batil. But rather they are just labels and slogans and mantras that they give to falsehood to try to make it look attractive. إِذَا جُرِّدَتْ تَبَيَّنَتْ هَبَاءً مَنْثُورًا. When you strip away all of the trappings of falsehood and the aesthetics of it, then you see that it is like scattered dust. It is nothing but scattered dust. When you strip away everything that they use to make it look pretty, all the words and the slogans, and you show it for what it really is, and you strip it down to its bare bones, تَبَيَّنَتْ هَبَاءً مَنْثُورًا. The Shaykh says, it is exposed as being هَبَاءً مَنْثُورًا, scattered dust floating in the wind. وَرَأَيْتُهُ يَسُوقُ الْبَرَاهِينَ الْعَقْلِيَّةِ بأوضح عبارة وأوجزها وأسلمها من الاعتراض والنقد والخفاء. He says, and you see that Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala presents logical evidences with the clearest expressions that are very, very short and that are the safest words to use so that they are not met with i'tirad, and with disagreement, that nobody can disagree with. They are very simple. They're words that there is no ihtimal for them. You can't be confused about what is being said. It is very, very crystal clear and what is being said. وَالنَّقْضِ وَالْخَفَاء. There is no ambiguity and there is no way that it can be contradicted. فيجمع بين الدليل العقلي والنقلي في كلمة واحدة إيجازا غير مخل بالمطلوب. So Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala gathers between logical evidence and scriptural evidence in a single phrase that is mujiz, and that is very short. And as they say, the best speech is that which is short but straight to the point. It is very, very short, but it is precise and accurate. غير مخل بالمطلوب, and that doesn't take a person away from the purpose of what is being said. وتارة يفصل ذلك ويسرد من البراهين ما يكفي بعضه بالبيان فلله الحمد والشكر. And at other times you find that Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, He, as opposed to using ijaz, brevity, Using very short words, Allah goes into a lot of detail in the Quran, refuting a particular doubt of the disbelievers, bringing 8 or 9 or 10 or 12 things, and to establish the belief in the Day of Judgment, and to refute those who say that there is not going to be a resurrection of the bodies and the souls, and these sorts of things. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, He goes into a lot of detail about at-Tawheed, and about the truthfulness of the prophets and their messengers, and about the belief in the Day of Judgment, and the trueness of the commands and the prohibitions of Allah and their benefit, and so on and so forth. He goes into a lot of details, and he brings the logical proofs for that. مَا يَكْفِي بَعْضُهُ بِالْبَيَانِ, and a lot of detail that only some of which would have been required to have fully explained what is being said. But Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala has cut off all of the excuses for mankind. وَلِلَّهِ الْحُجَّةُ الْبَالِغَةُ, and the most extensive hujjah is for Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. He has established the most impactful argument against His creation, and had He so willed, He would have guided all of mankind. فَلِلَّهِ الْحَمْدُ وَالشُّكْرُ, and so all praise and thanks is for Allah. فَهَذِهِ مُقَدِّمَةٌ نَافِعَةٌ إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهِ يَنْبَغِي اسْتِقْرَاؤُهَا فِي كُلِّ مَوَارِدِهَا. So the Shaykh, he uses this in the beginning of his tafsir. Before you read his tafsir, he says this introduction and this primer is beneficial, insha'Allah ta'ala, and it is befitting that a person deduces the various themes of the Quran, these benefits, that they make istiqra', that they look at the individual themes of the Quran in their individual places and their instances as he reads the Quran, and that he contemplates over these benefits. وَالتَّنْبِيحُ لِكُلِّ مَا يَرِدُ مِنْ هَذِهِ الْمَطَالِبِ عَلَى وَجْهِ التَّفْصِيلِ, and it is befitting for him to pay attention to everything that has passed and is aforementioned of these matalib, of these themes and the benefits connected to them in detail. فَمَنْ اسْتَعْمَلَهَا فِي كُلِّ مَا يَرِدُ عَلَيْهِ مِنَ الْآيَاتِ, whoever employs what they have learned and everything that they come across of the ayat of the Quran in their appropriate places, انتفع بها نفعا عظيما, then they will benefit with a tremendous benefit. وَذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَاللَّهُ ذُو الْفَضْلِ الْعَظِيمِ وَاللَّهُ ذُو الْفَضْلِ الْعَظِيمِ. That is the bounty of Allah and His grace that He gives to whom He wills, and Allah is a possessor of tremendous grace and bounty. As the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever Allah wants good for, يُفَقِّهُ فِي الدِّينِ, He will cause him to deeply understand his religion. We ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala to reward Shaykh Abdul Rahman bin Nasir Sa'adi rahimahullah ta'ala khair al-jaza. This is from the rights of the scholars upon us, that we make dua for them and mention them with good, and that we be khairun khalaf li khair salaf, that we be the best successors of those who came before us, and he being those, and he yaqtaduna biman qablana, and he who take the example of those who came before us, so that we could be an example for those who will come after us. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد